Howdy.
Hi.
Welcome. Hi. So great question trivia. Yeah, let's put this dragon in here.
Done.
Grayello.
That's a
Yellow.
good one.
That is a good guess. What do you think about this new chat box thing? I think that's pretty neat, right?
I like it.
Thank you. Streamlabs.
Woo!
All right. So Eric and Julie, and today we're talking about building and maintaining friendships based around your D&D table. So I think those are good.
I agree.
I think friends are great.
I like having friends. I like making sure that the D&D table isn't just coming in to sit down and play D&D and then leave. I think that people are human beings. I know that's a radical thought, and it's nice to treat them as such, as whole complex people, whether they're at the table or not. And you have a much more great time at the table when you're having fun, which is Eric's whole thing, and when you like the people who you're playing with. So make the most of that. There are so many people in the world who aren't awesome. So when you find some good ones, make that best.
Yeah, be best.
Stop. I didn't and I wouldn't. Make the best of it. Get the most out of those friendships.
Mike says friends. Psh.
This stream might not be for you, or you might learn a lot, Mike, depending on how open-minded you feel.
I do want to give a little shout out to Mike.
Absolutely.
Mike has won the first ever mini of the month.
Woohoo!
For being a waffle or higher patron.
Thanks, Mike.
Each month, people can submit a mini, and I picked his. Had tough competition this month.
Whether the competition was tough or not, his mini looks awesome, and it's highlighted in Eric's latest video, and he's got some really great, clap, clap, clap. He's got some really great, like black outlines around they add a lot of contrast and look almost cartoony, but in the best way. I love it. It looks really good.
Yeah. It's definitely stylized.
Yeah. Stylized.
Speaking of this white dragon, if you haven't watched this video, this was one of my favorite painting videos I've ever done. This white dragon was so cool. And I want to give you a little background before we jump into this actual video. I painted it and shot it all yesterday, and it took way longer than I had planned. And I stayed up until 6 a.m.
We were going to have waffles for breakfast, but then we didn't. Somebody
wanted to sleep in until noon to make up for that.
And that's understandable.
Yeah. Okay, so.
Friends. Romans. Countrymen.
I've got a new table full of people.
Yeah.
We've met online or whatever.
Sure.
And we're going to have our first game. What should we do?
The base layer of respect is something that goes without saying. I would hope, but I don't know. Mike might need to hear that. One of the things that's plus and a minus to being in Eric's life is that if you're not 15 minutes early, you are late, and that is unacceptable. So something that we always did, even at the gaming store, was to arrive at least 15 minutes early before the start of the game. That gives you time to chitter chatter with your fellow early birds. Make sure that you're not rushed. It's just good for you and for the DM, but that 15 minutes of chat about how was your week, what do you do for a living, that kind of stuff can go really, really far. So I think that's how we started to realize, more than how they played, that these were people we actually enjoyed at the table.
Absolutely agree with that. I will put a little note on there, though. As DM, sometimes those last 15 minutes are the most crunch, time. So if you have other people to talk to, that's great. Talk to them. If you are just getting to the table and it's just the DM and the player, this would happen a lot with Adventure League games.
Sure.
Where I'd get there even half an hour early to get all the minis and everything set up, and last minute crunch on the module. And then a player shows up and they're talking, and I don't want to be rude. I don't want to cut anybody out or anything. No. But that's like my time. So little note on that. Just be aware, just like in any conversation. Is this person trying to do something, or are they just like a kind of conversation mood, or are they looking for a full on talk?
That's the DM's problem, not mine. So I don't care about that advice.
We've got a note, DB. If you're late, bring tacos. Great way to make friends.
Love that.
Yes, and we've got a note about food that we're going to cover here too.
Indeed, we do. The DM spins a cocoon around himself for those final 15. I love that. That's a great idea.
If I could, I would. I'll grow those little spinnerets.
Ugh. You could sit in the car for the last 15 minutes, do a little amp up dance.
Yeah.
So, and just leave all your stuff at the table. That sounds perfectly normal and fine.
Well, I have done that when we played at the store. We used to play at a store. And now at home, we can just set it up and
set it and forget it.
Go take a nap or something.
Mm-hmm.
Or for real advantage on that, you can, if you're like in the middle of a combat and you're in the session, you can just leave it for next week.
Yeah. And then your dining room has a D&D table on it because it's not a dining room anymore. And that's fine.
Yeah. Well, we've had, since March, we've had a dining room table back again.
That's true. Yeah. 0 people over. So plenty of table space. Building friends. DB is absolutely right. If you're going to be late, bring tacos and bring enough for everybody, preferably in their favorite flavor and their dietary preference, which is something that you'll learn by arriving 15 minutes early for your chitter chatter, but not with the DM because he's kind of a stick in the mud.
The DM is a super stick in the mud.
Yeah.
So I guess the note to the DM is just get your stuff ready earlier.
I wasn't going to say it. If you're not 15 minutes early, you're late. But if you're not prepped 30 seconds before the game starts, that's fine. For the DM and the DM only.
I don't think it's so much of a, I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah.
It's a last minute nervousness of it's showtime. Which
the pre-show jitters.
I think is a fair thought.
That is a fair thought. That I'll allow. That's okay by me, which is what matters here.
Thank you. So like we said, we used to play at a store. Shout out Brick House Games. They brought us together. Our main group.
Yeah.
Got us together.
Yeah.
In Dallas, Texas. Or Garland, in Texas. And then so after that we moved to the house. So we started playing here. And we don't typically have a lot of people over at the house. So this was a transition for us. And I really liked it because it helped us keep the house clean. That was a big win for me. But we wanted to kick it off with a bang, right? Like we wanted to have like a big transition moment. And a side note on this was also when we transitioned from Adventures League's rules to homebrew rules. So we could get a little spicy. Brickhouse changed names.
Oh, hot goss.
Yeah, that is some hot goss.
We might have known that if we had left the house.
Hey, I left the house.
Congratulations.
I went to Micro Center and bought computer parts and built a computer.
Thanks to our patrons.
Yeah, thanks to our patrons. We need a few more. So anyway, patreon.com/FryMinis. So we wanted to kick things off with a bang, right? So we did a special mega event. We did, what was it, 8-hour session?
I don't know that it was that long. It was a full day potluck situation while we
played White Plume Mountain. So it's a big dungeon. You go into a volcano mountain and you do some stuff without going into spoilers. But it's a full day. You can find it in Tales from the Yawning Portal. It's one of my favorite dungeons. It's got lots of puzzles and traps. It's old school though, so there are definitely some you die situations.
Sure.
But if you do it as like a kind of a special event, I think it's a really, really great thing for that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I wouldn't want to do 8-hour sessions all the time.
Nope.
But 1 or 2 a year, I think is a really fun way to highlight.
It was a really nice kickoff, like you said, kind of that transition from at the store to at our house, and from Adventures League to kind of our homebrew setup. It was just a nice kind of kickoff event that I really enjoyed. And the potluck nature made it extra nice. Everybody brought something. You get to know more about people when they're sharing their family recipes. We made the Michigan Midwest special of grape jelly ketchup meatballs.
Yes.
It was a good time. I think that, to DB's point, and as a person who loves to eat and thus cooks a lot because I love to eat, food brings people together. It's always a fantastic thing to have. So even when we were at the store and when we moved games at home, snacks would always just appear. Someone would always bring a snack. Even though we didn't have a strict rule for cost, dietary, whatever reasons, we didn't have to make every time somebody came over, it was a whole big thing and everybody had to cook something. That was too much of a commitment. But bags of popcorn and cakes and candies just tended to show up every Sunday, and that was awesome.
Freebird tacos or burritos? Freebird burritos?
Yes, yes.
And if you use Improved Inspiration, video plug, I like to give a little inspiration, bronze or silver, depending on what's going on, for for bringing some food in.
Absolutely. And if you bring just the DM his lunch request, you would sometimes, I think, maybe get a gold inspiration.
Yeah, I would never ask people to just like go strictly for me.
No.
But if somebody like people know what's up, so if they're like, "Hey, I'm driving through Wendy's," sure, Jay.
Absolutely.
Thanks, bro.
I feel like White Plume Mountain is one of those every year.
Yeah, White Plume Mountain is definitely one you could replay every year. I think it's a great. I love it. It's just like classic old school dungeon diving in the best way, and a lot of the puzzles in it. And normally I don't super love puzzles because I am not smart.
Don't be modest.
But there's so many ways that you can solve these puzzles. It's not just you have to move this into the right. You have to answer the riddle. There's some of those in there, but a lot of the scenarios are just like, here's a scenario, do what you want. Sure. I really like setting up spots like that where I don't have a pre-written solution. It's just the players will figure something out. If it sounds good, go with it.
Awesome.
I love it.
I don't remember doing White Plume Mountain. I remember the food that was brought was really good. But what happened in the game, that's not stuff that stays in my brain.
Oh, come on. You have to remember the swinging from the ropes, and I made those little wooden things.
I remember.
And
yeah.
And then we had that crab.
What was it like? And then what was there?
Crabs.
Just checking.
Can confirm he'll get gold inspo for bringing the DM food. Yeah. Mike, what kind of link were you trying to post? Was it a link to free food? So I'll give you some inspiration right now. Yeah. Okay. So
things got a little out of hand.
Yeah.
The way that people would shoot a quick message into the group chat before they arrived to say, "Hey, I'm swinging through Wendy's," or whatever it was.
Excellent.
Is we stayed in touch outside of the games. So for a while we had a Facebook chat because everybody was on Facebook at the time. That's how old our group is. Yeah. And then we moved to Discord just to be able to stay in touch outside of games. Whenever anything came with a horse related at all, which as you can imagine happens a lot in Texas, but not maybe as much as you would think. We'd be able to drop in a joke about our weird horses that came up in the game or how many legs it had and things like that. So being able to stay in touch outside of the game has been really important. Just building up friendships and inside jokes and caring about each other.
Yeah. I'm really happy with Discord. We're relatively new Discord users. Side note, we have a Discord. I've got a link in today's video, in the White Dragon video. I've got a join link there. So if you're not in there already, come check us out. But I think it's cool. All the channels, all the servers, permissions and roles. So if you need to do a private thing, you can. If you want to have a bigger group, you can. Screen sharing, I think, is really good.
Yeah.
The video chat's great.
Yeah.
I've become a big fan of Discord.
Absolutely.
But Facebook Messenger is convenient because almost everybody has it.
Absolutely.
I long for the day that I finally get rid of my Facebook, but in the meantime, it was super helpful. Tying that with the Facebook, we would keep a calendar.
Yes.
You want to talk about the calendar?
I loved the calendar because I liked knowing who was going to be at a given game. But that's where it starts and ends for me. I think you probably have more to say about it.
Yeah. So we would maintain because we have a large group. I think 7 or 8 players most of the time, like a total in the group. Not everybody would be there every single session. So to determine who's going to be there and if we had enough to keep the game going, I like to always have at least 3 players. I think was my general cutoff.
Minimum, yeah.
Yeah, and if we really wanted a game, but we only had 2 people or whatever, we could do like a special thing. But for the main campaign, we would have that cutoff. So with the group chat, with the calendar, you can see who's signed up, who's going to be there, who's going to make it. Hello, you two. Sorry I'm late. Well, welcome, DJ Ghostman.
Welcome.
We're talking about friends, amigos,
Amis.
that's French.
Calendars.
Calendars. Yeah, I'm tired. So the calendar was just really helpful. Now, if you have a smaller group, you might not need that calendar where you can just be like, oh, hey, I'm not going to make it, whatever. But once you are running 6, 7, 8 or more people, I think having a little bit of automation via a calendar, that for me, that was huge. Because one of the worst things everybody knows is, okay, it's an hour before game time, and then, oh, I can't make it.
Right.
And stuff will still happen. Like,
sure.
Where the calendar, where somebody will have to cancel, but at least you've got a general idea throughout the week.
Yeah. I think that was also really helpful for you in terms of just developing the story we were going to play. So not just meeting player minimums, but getting to build the homebrew around who was going to be at the table that day. So you were great at like not setting someone's story arc to happen on a day they weren't going to be there, of course. And that was all flexible with
That's a great point.
The homebrew of it because it wasn't one solid storyline.
Yeah, there's no point in doing a Madame Truffaut story arc when Madame Truffaut is visiting her nephews in California.
A lot. Again, soon, I hope.
Yeah. So I don't know. I like the calendar. I'm a big calendar person, though.
It worked out really well. I completely agree. It was helpful to know who was going to be there that day, to know who you're going to run into, to know whether you needed to have vegan snacks or skip the vegan snacks and go full on meat plate. I mean, whatever it needed to be. It's just helpful to know who's going to be at the table.
That's a really great point. And you can also throw other things on there, like your game anniversary,
sure,
or the players' birthdays, things like that, so you can keep a dialogue going.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Did we mention that someone went to sleep at 6 a.m.? Sorry.
What's up, DJ Ghostman? Hugs to you, bro.
Hey. Another thing that was really helpful kind of outside the store was doing not D&D events. So a couple times we had painting days where if the game started at 1, we'd have folks over at noon or maybe 11. Eric would cover our table in wrapping paper so that anybody could paint and it would be totally fine. And then we just set out a bunch of painting stuff and have a painting session. It wasn't, you could paint whatever you wanted. Eric had a couple minis that were like other people worthy of painting.
like goblins.
Duplicates.
Like Reaper goblins, you've got 30 of them. Yeah.
So we could just sit around and paint together. One of us was the snack runner, so I could go pick up like takeout for everybody that day, and we would just sit around and paint. We had also thought about having like a movie night, which is not doable now, but an idea, a movie night of your players.
Yeah. You could still do like a movie watch party.
A Netflix party kind of thing. Yeah. Which has a new name now that I don't remember. No. But yeah.
I really enjoyed the painting days.
Yeah.
They were a huge hassle to to set up and break down.
Sure.
And then go right into the game.
Sure.
And losing that last minute prep time that I enjoy. But you could also replace a session.
Sure.
So if you're just like you've been going for 3 months straight and you're like, let's just switch it up. Today we'll just paint. If you don't want to paint, we just hang out and talk. Stuff like that I think is really cool.
Absolutely.
Or you can even play just a different game.
Yeah.
Monopoly.
Let's not do that.
There's your 8-hour session.
Yeah. Having things to do that aren't strictly D&D, but that everybody likes. We have one friend who's really into indie board games, so we played those a couple times with him and his partner. That was really fun. Having dinners, whether everybody can come or just 1 or 2 other people can come, is a really good idea. Just, when the world opens up again, when the United States opens up again safely, and you can go out with friends and just get together socially as a group and not just have it be about the D&D table, I think is awesome. The more that you learn about the people who you're playing with, the better stories your DM can craft and the better person and player you can be to somebody else in the group. Yeah.
So going back to those little story arcs that you were just talking about, just as theoreticals here, but if you really like a mystery, then I could craft your character arc to be more of a mystery.
Absolutely.
And just somebody who's I only like fighting, I only like combat, then okay.
Combat's easier.
You can just work it around.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Cards Against Humanity is a great game.
Sure. Yep.
We played that with my grandma.
That was a hoot.
Yeah. That was an experience.
Yeah.
Uh,
Never again.
Boston.
Apples to apples with her. Yes. Cards Against Humanity.
I've never been to Boston.
Nope.
But I hear they like Dunkin' Donuts in Boston.
It's just Dunkin' now.
Dunkin'.
Yeah, they got rid of the donuts.
Matt Damon's here.
Another thing that's really important that I might institute right now is taking a 5-minute break. Eric always had, we built 5-minute breaks into the group so that you could get up, get a snack, go to the bathroom, do whatever you needed to do. And it was also just kind of a good decompress moment right after a really tough combat or a tense storyline moment where we all just needed to step back from our characters and kind of process a little bit. Nothing traumatic happened in the game, but just, it's really nice to just have those built-in 5-minute breaks that are just social. And whether someone gets there 15 minutes early and you're finishing the conversation from earlier, or just checking in with somebody how they're doing, I think that was a great way to be able to do things.
Yeah, so that's definitely a guilty, or I would forget sometimes to do those breaks. When, like, if it's like a story beat break, like that's one thing. But if it's just the bathroom,
sure.
I would just forget.
Well, players just come and go. I mean,
yeah,
when you gotta go, as they say. So yeah, it was convenient.
Yeah, and if you had to run off in the middle of combat or something, it would just be like, okay, well, what do you want to do? Otherwise, dodge.
Yeah.
So you could just, Eldritch Blast. Okay, cool, got it. Stuff like that.
That was a slight at me.
It was not.
I know it wasn't.
Taking it from a game shop to home really changes the group from players to friends. 100% agree.
Completely. Yeah.
I'll always think a store is a great way to meet other players.
Yes.
But you're at the store. And for example, if I'm the DM and we have a private group, right? But if the owner of the store is like, hey, I got this guy who wants to play D&D. Like I'm in a tricky spot of saying no. Like I know it's a private group, but I'm also at your store. Yeah. And we're not maxed out, and just like. And
you want to be a good ambassador for the game too. So, yeah.
Yeah. So not having to deal with that might sound like a small thing, but to me that was a pretty big thing.
It's a huge deal, and like I've talked about before, being at home, whether it was my home or somebody else's, we happened to play at ours because two of us and other people we played with were mostly one peoples instead of two peoples. And B,
a wall of minis.
Wall of minis. Eric had, B, wall of minis. Got it. C, Eric has terrible allergies, and our house doesn't have pets, children, most allergens for the most part. I don't dust as well as I should, and vice versa. So, yeah, it was just really easy and delightful to be able to walk around and not smell bad people. Smells like sweat, and just people who play this game often.
If you've been in a game store, you know what we're talking about.
Exactly. To be looked at, to feel uncomfortable, to feel like you have to buy something. Those game stores are awesome, and they're a great place to be, and a couple bucks here and there to be able to play at the store, fantastic. But it's a totally different vibe, as I hope you can imagine, in someone's house, and it feels nice.
And I mean, honestly, at a game store, just a couple of people can kill the experience.
Yes.
Of a different table talking about topics that you don't want to talk about.
Yep.
Literally like staring at you as you walk to the bathroom.
It's not okay.
And then you're like, hey, owner, can we do something? Nah. All right, bye. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. Being at home is the best.
Being at home is the best.
Kind of covers that topic.
Yeah. We got some messages here. DJ Ghostman, the better you get to know people out of the game, the better you get to know them, so you can construct some form of story that would pique their interest.
Yeah.
Absolutely. 100% agree. You may even enhance your adventure arc. Same thought.
Yeah.
Wall of mini and your closet of shame, too. Yeah. I don't know what you're talking about that.
Nope, no clue.
No clue of closet of shame.
Nope, we don't have one of those at all.
No.
Getting to know people better speaks to just kind of being a good, decent human being, knowing about what's going on in people's lives, being in a spot where if someone is feeling off at the table, you're able to check in with them and say, like, everything all right? What's going on? Again, basic human decency as far as I'm concerned, but these are lessons that people continually have to learn, I guess. So asking people how they're doing, if they need to take a break, if they don't want to play today. I think Eric has a really good video about people not always being at the table and being able to say to somebody, like, if you don't feel good and you don't want to be here, like, go on home. We care about you as a person before we care about this game 100 times over. So no need to get weird about it.
Yeah. D&D has been a great way to make new friends. Making friends as an adult is tough. Oh my God.
Yes.
Especially if you're me. No. And finding a cool group of people to play with is so wonderful. Yeah.
Yes.
I think we got so lucky.
Yes.
That our group has been almost nothing but bangers.
Yeah. Almost. That was just to be funny.
So down to earth, such a fresh YouTube channel. Thanks, DJ Ghostman.
Thanks.
Yeah, spread the word.
Speaking of down to earth, what isn't down to earth is one time Eric made a joke about getting me some fingernail stickers.
Oh my God.
And so I told him I wanted some with his face on it because it would be hilarious and a little bit like, I'm so possessive that I rock his rock necklaces, but instead I have little Eric's on my fingernails. Just his accent nails. You know what I mean? This one gets his hair. This one doesn't have his hair, but it does have his whole face. I just wanted the opportunity to tell people how down to earth and normal I am.
What's this? What is that?
Chips in my nails, because although I painted them yesterday while I was peeling a potato today, I hit my nail and got that one. And then the rest of them are just, I have flimsy, not very good nails, so my polish.
Shout out to awesome fingernails.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I just wanted, again, we're very down to earth normal people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those were a joke, by the way.
Yes. Absolutely a joke.
Yeah.
All right. Being able to let people be their full weird self, weird fingernails and all at the table, I think is a really great way to do things as well. So letting people know that there's, we're not therapists by any means, although therapy is awesome and everybody should go.
Yes.
It's nice to not have people kind of put up walls at the table and to really welcome them, like, oh, you're having a bad mental health day? I know what those are like. And, oh, your stomach hurts all the time? I know what that's like. Yes. Try cold brew instead of regular coffee sometimes if you can. So just making the table an open environment and never making someone feel weird for what they've shared about themselves, within reason, of course. But the more that people are able to share and be their full selves without getting the like TMI faces met at them, the better you can incorporate them into the story, the more silly you can be as a fellow player with them, and just a better experience for everybody. So again, just welcoming people to be their full selves at the table, whether it's a good day or a bad day, to just, we're here first and foremost because we like you, and then we're playing a game.
I couldn't say anything better than that.
Thank you so much.
That was amazing.
Thank you. I've been doing this a little while.
I already shared you on my Facebook page, so yeah, I'm spreading the word. Thank you. One vote for all face, no hair.
Thank you. I'm glad that you like that one. I think that one's super cute. But Eric's hair is one of my favorite things about him, so I like to have that there too.
I didn't put gel in it today.
That's okay.
Pomade.
Whatever it is.
Paul Mitchell.
Thank you for the votes. Keep them going. I might try to do like a really weird one where like his mouth is on one nail and then like one eye on either one. We'll stop talking about this because I think we made him uncomfortable. I'm sorry.
Well, if it's not set up right, it's like creepy. Like, put my face on your fingernail.
No, not at all. I told you needed to do this because I thought it was the creepiest, most hilarious thing in the whole wide world. Yeah. And that's why they're only accent nails. I also don't do acrylics, so I'll never have like the capacity. The full ones are pretty long. They're like almost down to his like shirt. So it's just, I don't have that long of nails. I might do my toenails.
I'm glad you don't. Whatever. Okay. I have a transmog contest to judge later on WoW, so I hope they will wait for me. I'm not going anywhere till then. Haha. Good luck with your transmogrification. That's where you can change the appearance of your armor and weapons. So if just cosmetically.
I know what a transmogrifier is from Calvin and Hobbes.
Oh.
He had that box.
Yeah.
And it was a whole storyline. I know that wasn't for you, and that's okay. That's totally fine. Just like with any group, you're going to gravitate more towards some people than you do toward others, whether their schedules, personal lives, personalities, how they mesh and how they don't. Just a reminder to be considerate. getting together with a subset of the group for movie night or dinner or whatever that is, always a good idea to build friendships with the people you like the very most. Just don't maybe make people feel like crap about it at the table the next time.
Yeah. I mean, just like you said, just in any kind of group, you're always going to have somebody that you just click with a little bit better.
Definitely.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
That's totally fine.
That's the beauty of the human experience.
Yeah. Just be cool.
Yeah. Just be cool.
And even if there's somebody who, like you at the group, like 5 people at the group, and if there's one that you're like, I don't really like that person. But the rest of the group is okay. Like, just keep going. You don't need to stab somebody in the eye. You don't need to poke them and say like, I don't like you. You can just disengage from them a little bit.
Wow.
Our topic is how to build friends. I'm trying to come in at baseline.
You're doing amazing. You're doing amazing, sweetie.
Calvin and Hobbes. Isn't there an E in Hobbes? Or is that the fable thing?
No, there is an E in Hobbes, but that's all right. It was a nod to the philosopher Hobbes, who I think might spell it without the E, but I'm not sure.
Oh. Shout out friends. If anybody has a friend you want us to shout out, go ahead and put it in the chat. We'll shout out your friend.
One only, though. Limit one per customer.
Sounds like you could have more than one friend.
I'm not going to talk to you about
that. Shout out swords.
Shout out swords.
Shout out swords.
Done.
This is great. This is our best one yet.
I completely agree. I'm not loopy at all.
I might be a little loopy.
I know.
Okay. So this one is a little new for us. We're obviously in person preference game people.
Definitely.
We 10 out of 10 times we will pick to play in person.
Yes.
Right now we're not, obviously. So I've been playing in some online games every once in a while here or there. And we've had a couple spots. So I like to, whenever that happens, I like to throw it in the chat. Say, hey, we got an opening. Anybody want to come join? Hopefully they'll do it some other day. What?
You're so good. I just got loopy. It's okay.
Great. Oh, level up, Larry. I want to shout out Eric. He's cool.
Ah.
I want to shout out Mr. Mike.
Eric has his days.
Level up, Larry. Luckily, Sunday's one of those days. Eric, cool days.
Thanks for hanging out, Larry.
Thanks for hanging out, Larry. This has been a good one. This has been great.
The tops.
If you don't know Larry, Larry's awesome. Check him out on Twitch. Level up, Larry. He is a streamer.
Yes.
But he's not out there streaming boring stuff like Call of Duty or Escape from
Witch Mountain.
Tarkov or whatever it is. Escape from Witch Mountain too. No, he's out there. He's streaming one of my original games of all time, EverQuest.
Bum, bum, bum.
My first email address of all time was my character name, toldeneq@hotmail.com.
My first email address was related to JC from NSYNC.
Great. All right. Go check out Level Up Larry. If you have Amazon, give him a Twitch sub.
I don't know what his game was that he was playing that I watched most recently, but there was a Skelly Belly, and I really liked the way that his body moved.
That was EverQuest.
Great. I thought it looked awesome.
Yeah. But I think it's got new like texture pack or something. It's much better resolution.
A 22-year-old game is like a 22-year-old wine. It's fantastic. Super Mario Brothers 3 will always be one of my favorite games, and I think that might be older than 22 years, but I don't want to think about it. It's definitely older than 22 years. I refuse to think about it.
So point being, if you have like a game, like if you're doing something that is tangentially related to your group's activities, and give somebody the opportunity to get into it.
Yeah.
Expand, because maybe like you start out as a D&D group, but then one of your people is like, oh, hey, I'm going to try Pathfinder. Anybody want to go? And then you could just, and now you're a Pathfinder group.
Yeah.
Evolve. You don't know. Like, I mean, we've only ever played D&D for tabletop RPGs. Maybe we would love Pathfinder more, but we're sticking the muds as previously announced.
I don't have the capacity to learn a whole new game. I just don't.
Baldur's Gate, the original. That was my very first D&D experience, was Baldur's Gate.
Mine was D&D, but that's fine.
Yeah, no, Julie's been playing D&D longer than I have.
I was very cool in high school.
All right. Somebody out there, give me something you've done with your friends that's been cool.
Yeah,
that's
a way
related.
that you build camaraderie at the table, which we had a disagreement about before we started streaming over how to spell it. So if you can spell camaraderie correctly, go ahead. Otherwise, just say building friendships.
Without research.
Yeah, without research.
Don't cheat.
No cheating.
Mike. Yeah.
As always, I mean, just the baseline, be a warm, friendly, inviting person to the best of your abilities with other folks at the table. And that can turn against you when you seem to be a smiley, chatty person, and then all of a sudden someone wants to tell you the birthing story of their daughter from their ex-wife, who's a total words that you won't say.
Yeah.
You know, it's better to start with being an open... See?
We've got both.
Yeah.
Camaraderie.
Camaraderie.
The French.
Oui, bien sûr.
Camaraderie.
Camaraderie?
So I spelled it camaraderie.
You spelled it camaraderie.
Oh. Well, whatever. I spelled it with a Y.
Closer. Yeah.
So that's why we changed it to friendship.
Yeah. Because I was pretty sure it ended in IE, but everything else in the middle was a little bit of a guess.
Care Bears.
Care Bear Stare!
I watched a little bit of Care Bear cartoon when it was on TV. Original version.
I don't think I did.
I was little. I'm much older than Julie, if you don't know. 1 year.
Rarity.
Rardy.
Yeah, there's a second R.
Okay. Camaraderie.
Camaraderie. I like that one.
We're back to that trivia.
My favorite color is blue, by the way. Just so you know.
Green used to be my favorite color. Like growing up, I was green.
Mm-hmm.
And then at one point, I was like, blue's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I've been blue ever since.
I was right.
And so that's why I use the teal. It's in between.
That's a great point. I'll also say these are things that you can learn about your fellow characters when you're at the table in those first 15 minutes. Or if you start a stream and you burn through all your content 30 minutes into the 1 hour timeline.
Yeah. I think you could play a fun Care Bear one shot with different flavors of Wizard reskinned as Care Bears. Yes. I was thinking Dragonborn could be the Care Bear Stare, could be the breath attack. But I like Wizard more.
I love all of this. I'm
Care
super
Bear.
excited.
Hey, everybody, give us your breath, your best.
Clap if you believe.
Wait, here's our thumbnail.
No thanks.
41 minutes into it.
It's all right.
No, that's going to be the thumbnail. That's good. Thank you. So, friendship. I guess we don't have that much to say about it.
No, I'm kind of out.
Yeah. Just be cool. Fundamentally, at the end of the day,
Yeah.
if you're like a pal,
Yeah.
if you listen to people,
Mm-hmm.
you engage with people,
Mm-hmm.
I think you can go pretty far.
Yeah.
I think that can get you through most situations.
Yes.
I mean, I have a problem where I'll talk too much.
No.
I know. I'll be like, if somebody will say, "Oh, hey, how's it going?" I'll be like, "Great." 15 minutes.
Yes.
When you're supposed to say great.
He's an extrovert through and through.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think it's not too hard.
I'll also say that as a socially anxious person, sometimes it's difficult for me to remember people's names. So when I already have my notebook out to take notes for the game, it's helpful to make little notes about people's pets' names, children's names, relative ages, things like that. Just in line in my notes so then I can refer back to it. I can check out my notebook when I'm there half an hour early, because if you're not 15 minutes early, you're late. And if you're not 30 minutes early from when you're supposed to DM, or sometimes an hour, then you're really late and your whole day's just gone to hell. So being able to just make notes is totally fine as you're getting to know new people that you don't see every week if they're only there every other week. That was really helpful for me to make little notes about who people were, kind of cultivation notes, as we call them in the fundraising field.
Yeah, I'm also not super great with names.
Yeah.
I would experience that a lot when I was Adventurers League DMing, and you have just random people.
Yes.
And like, yeah, if you're at the one store, you'll get to know people eventually. But especially if you're like DMing at a convention
Mm-hmm.
where you're just cycling through and you go around the table and you're like, oh, I'm Bill, I'm Sally, whatever. And then one round later, you're like, oh.
Yeah. Table tents were really helpful for that, I think.
Yeah.
I think one person had us do table tents with our character's name and then our armor class on it and things, so they could use that as their initiative markers. And then another one, so you had to make 2 when you sat down at the table. One with your character's name, and then one with your character's name, and then class, armor class, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Really helpful for DM and players.
Yeah, especially at modules and
yeah.
things like that. With Adventures League, I got to a point where I kind of felt like I was like the cool kid. So I would stop trying to learn people's names, act like on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would always at the start of a session, and don't do this. This is not like a cool guy thing to do.
No.
But I'd be like, all right, so going clockwise, you're player 1, 2, 3, 4. And that way I could just say, okay, number 4, what are you doing?
That's awful.
Well, it worked.
Did it? Did the people at your table feel welcome? Or did it work for you as a DM?
No, that's what I meant. It worked for me as a DM.
Yeah.
Because that way they don't have to worry about me forgetting their name. Because they don't know that I don't know their name.
I think it's pretty obvious that you didn't know their name.
All right, we've got some messages here. You got to watch Critical Role's Bear one-shots. I'm not actually a Critical Role person.
This is the D&D stuff that I do.
Yeah.
You're looking at it.
Everything I've ever seen, they're all fantastic and awesome. Like, no hate or anything.
Yeah, absolutely.
But what is it? 700 hours of content? If you want to start watching it, you have to get caught up or something.
It's like more than Law and Order. That's a lot.
Yeah. I don't know. I have a hard time watching games.
Yeah.
It makes gameplay so much better. This is DB. So much better as a nervous player who is intimidated by role play. Having a great group of people I like and know aren't judging me makes it so much more fun. Yes, you can do those silly voices. You can ask that question that you feel like it's a dumb question, but it's not.
Yeah.
But you're 100%. I will take a once a month game with a group of friends over twice weekly random AL modules.
Yes. I didn't do random AL modules. It wasn't for me. I'm not interested. It's exhausting as a not extrovert. To go to a game store, sit down at a random table, and I didn't eat lunch in the cafeteria throughout high school because just sitting in a large group of people and trying to find your table, every high school movie is just a nightmare. I don't want to have to do it. So having a group of people who you know and or even one person who you know you're going to meet at the game store and you two are going to find a table together, way better than anything else.
Absolutely.
And I think that's part of what we were talking about at conventions in our stream about conventions too, is having a buddy. Anywhere you
Jameson
go.
was my convention buddy. Shout out Jameson.
And having somebody at your table, whether it's the DM and a player or whatever it is, to really set the rules of what your table is going to be and affirm there are no silly questions, or just be an active listener. It's so easy to not look at your phone every time someone else is going, but be an active listener, jump into what the other person is doing. Yes, and the hell out of it, I guess, is what I'll say.
Yeah. And that friendly face, that with more AL stories, that absolutely, especially true at conventions.
Yes.
Where you've got your people, even if it's not like you and me, but if I go there, I go to the convention by myself and I see people I see from the game store in this, so out of the pool of 50 people from my game store, and then I'm at the convention, I see a pool of 2,000 people and I see one or two that I know. Absolutely.
Feels a lot better.
I'm gonna do everything I can to get them at the table, to give them a spot. It works for everybody.
Yes. But if you didn't learn their name at the game store because you just called them player 1, player 2, player 3, but you do recognize their face, that can still be weird. Take the time to learn their name.
Well, they'd be a different number depending on where they sit each time. Because that's how it works. Okay. Yep. It ends up being a lot of, you jam. Yes, exactly.
Hey, you.
We're a little backed up.
I know.
Table tents.
Yes.
Great. Absolutely great for AL.
Yes.
I'm for those of you who haven't played at my table, I've made a DM screen and built it out of wood and stuff. It's got some metal in there, and I would use little like a little magnet with a piece of paper laminated with the character's picture on it, and then I have some like generic ones for monster initiatives, and then I would put those at the top, and that was my favorite way to show in person to show initiative. Yeah. I loved how that worked.
Yeah, it worked really great, and that was laminated because it was us playing at home, so we knew everybody in the game. But yeah, an initiative tracker system is really helpful, especially if you're being a pal, not just to yourself to learn characters' names, but to everybody else at the table. Because if I could check the character or the initiative tracker to say like, oh yeah, that person's name is Jelkins.
Jelkins.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Would that be an elf?
It sounds like a 1920s deodorant.
Wow.
Stay dry with
there you
Jelkins.
Have it. Now I know. I'm glad that connected with you.
Great. Chattertons. So impersonal, though. Yes. No better way to make friends than refusing to.
Great point.
I believe I started that with "Don't do this." I think I set that baseline.
You did. But we're still allowed to make fun of you for it because that's not necessarily something I would have admitted to having done. That's an abuse of power, I think. That's
what I said. Like I felt like I was like the cool guy, and I was like, yeah. Again, bad. Yeah.
Men shouldn't be in power.
That's true. No better way.
Speaking of things, oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No better way. Numbers are people. Corporations are people. I don't see why numbers can't be people, especially prime numbers.
Slippery slope.
I think moving from AL to homebrew is the best sign that you're building friendships at the table.
Yeah.
Yes. You have that trust and the faith in that group.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need this is a very variable thing. What I'm going to say here, you don't need those rules as the guidelines. Now.
Yeah.
That can go south though, also because you have somebody who's never played, never DM'd at all, and just they start making up on their own rules and go crazy.
Yeah.
So, you have to keep your head up on what makes sense there, but. Generally, yes. I think that's good.
Had a better time doing conventions with your convention buddies.
I'm lost. I think moving from...
yes. We're caught up now.
I got you. Okay, thank you.
Magnetic nameplates out of tongue depressors. Yes. Yeah. Same concept, except he used paper and the laminator that he insisted on buying instead of tongue depressors. But yeah, same concept.
I don't have them handy otherwise. But yeah.
Yeah. That's all right.
Super cool.
Yeah.
And also shout out arts and crafts.
Love arts and crafts.
Best, great for DM. For D&D.
Great for D&D. We made rings for our players that were meant to be a joke, but they worked in game for like communication between each other, and we could like put them all together like Captain Planet to beam home to our homeland. I think Eric will definitely do the series about that homebrew.
Patreon exclusive.
So yeah, that worked out really well. Nameplates in a coffee can. Yeah. Love it. Yeah. Speaking of things that we did not mention to build camaraderie at the table, you'll notice that we did not talk about icebreakers. I hate icebreakers. Don't ever make me do them. I don't want to go around in a circle and say something interesting about me, or two truths and a lie, or do trust falls. I don't want to do that. I hate icebreakers.
I disagree.
I say let the friendships happen naturally, and that way you're not putting people on the spot.
Yeah, but so think about a situation where you've got an ongoing group of 4 people.
Yeah.
And then you bring in a new player that maybe one person knows. If you do something like that, you kind of equalize it, where everybody's in like a little awkward position.
Mm-hmm.
And that way you've instantly got that leveled the plane.
Sure.
You're the group and I'm the new guy.
Yeah. I hear what you're saying. I would go around the table and do introductions. I think that's part of any gameplay anyway, but what's your deal? What are you into? Tell us a little about yourself is so much better than like, and my favorite pizza topping is, I love trivia about other people. I love to be able to ask them, what's your favorite food? What's your favorite color? What do you do for a living? I'm all about those kinds of questions, but doing that in a forced group structure, A, pushes me back to like junior high when you had to do that, or a corporate environment that I've obviously never worked in and cannot stand. And B, it's just, ugh. You never had us do an icebreaker at the table.
No, but I don't hate them.
Well, you're wrong.
So friendship. I finished my wife's mage tower.
Go ahead. You're a comment ahead of me. Or, yeah.
Okay. I want to see a picture of the mage tower.
Yeah.
Throw it in Discord.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
I'm eager to see that.
Yeah.
The cookie decorating contest was so fun.
That's what I was reacting to.
Silly little competitions that aren't D&D related are a great way to break the ice, get more comfortable with people. Almost like an icebreaker. Almost exactly, literally using the term.
Okay.
Shout out, DB.
Okay.
So we did this one time, and we planned we're gonna do a real video on this because I think it's so great.
It was.
Just get some blank cookies.
Blank cookies, he says. Unfrosted, basic sugar cookies that are made to be frosted.
And then go to Kroger and buy all the clearance items in the cookie making section.
Mm-hmm.
So you get random food coloring tubes and sprinkles with like 4th of July on it, even though it's November, and just do whatever, like crazy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then you make cookies, and you can theme it in game of like, make a thing that represents your like literally a baking contest, like a skill challenge or something in the game.
Yeah.
But also just like do something fun related to our campaign.
The right 2 truths and a lie in frosting on this very, very large cookie. I love
that. Do it. Get they make fine tip frosting nozzles. I don't know. I think we're both a little goofy tonight.
Don't worry about it.
Making a temple for resurrection purposes. Got to have somewhere to res dead. Yeah. Throw it in Discord. So go to the. I'm not like I don't know how to. The invite link for Discord is weird, but go to the video I posted this morning with the dragon on it, and in there in the description is a link to join the Discord. Yeah.
I like things that break the ice. I'm talking about corporate ice breakers. Don't do it. I specifically referenced trust falls. Don't do that. That's the worst.
Sure.
Anything you've seen
Who's
done
doing
on the
a
office,
trust
don't
fall
do it.
at the table?
Look.
Who's sitting there? Oh, eat your lies. Julie needs to go to bed.
We all know that Jameson is very, very funny.
That was DB.
I know, but it started
They're both funny.
with a very, very large cookie. And then it's still building. Yeah, they're hilarious. They're the best.
Wow. Okay.
On the one hand, do I think that Eric is a delightful person and people really like him? Yes. I'm supposed to think that, I think. And I certainly really like him a whole lot. On the other hand, do I think that Eric is this most special person in the whole wide world and that's why he happened to get a bunch of tables who had awesome people at it and then we all became friends? No, I think it was just basic human decency that really started it out. And to your point about how lucky we are that we got a group of people who we really, really like, setting the tone of we're here to have fun, we're going to be good people, I care about you as a human being. If that's your mindset going into the game, it's going to be much easier for you than if you're just there to show off your really cool character that you built out with something you found on Reddit. Like, yeah. I don't care. That's not what it's about. This whole thing is supposed to be about friends, relationships, people. It's easy in the context of a game to build those experiences together and get really silly how my character once turned into a cow so that someone who was small, a halfling maybe, was able to cling to my underbelly and then sneak in someplace. I said underbelly. Anyway, it doesn't matter what happened in the game. It matters what you're doing with the people at the table around you and making the best of it.
Yeah. Friends are cool.
Yeah.
I've never been a person with a bunch of friends. So if I never played another game of D&D in my life, that would suck. But I think I've got a pretty awesome group of friends out of it. So I'd be satisfied.
Yeah. The point about making friendships as an adult is really tough, especially since we're not from here. We haven't always lived here. And a lot of the advice that I got was to make friends, because apparently you can't maintain friendships via text, which I actually think is bullshit. But it's been awesome. Really, really great.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Anybody else? If you're not already a subscriber, please subscribe. I'd love to get up to 2,000 subscribers by the end of the night.
Wow.
We're at 319, I think, right now.
It's a lofty goal.
And of course, check us out on Patreon. If you hit that $10 tier, your name goes in the video, and I would really love to have more names in that list. And if you want to get your mini recognized, we got the waffle tier, all sorts of cool stuff. Check it out. Thanks.
Thanks.
Thanks for watching.
We have a new closing screen, so you don't just have to watch me wave the whole time.
Yeah.
Although you can if you want. It's up to you.
All right.
Things are hanging out.
Bye.